which, for those of you who get annoyed whenever I do this, know that Eugene Peterson gets annoyed whenever I do this too. He doesn't like it to be read this way, but that's okay. Anyway. But for right now, friends, I'm completely frustrated by your unspiritual dealings with each other and with God. You're acting like infants in relation to Christ, capable of nothing much more than nursing at the breast. Well, then I'll nurse you, since you don't seem capable of anything more. As long as you grab for what makes you feel good or makes you look important, are you really much different than a babe at the breast, content only with when everything's going your way? When one of you says, I'm on Paul's side, and another says, I'm for Apollos, aren't you being totally infantile? So who do you think Paul is anyway? Or Apollos, for that matter? Servants, both of us. Servants who waited on you as you gradually learn to entrust your lives to our mutual master. We each carried out our servant assignment. I planted the seed. Apollos watered the plants. But God made you grow. It's not the one who plants or the one who waters who is at the center of this process, but God who makes things grow. Planting and watering are menial servant jobs at minimum wages. What makes them worth doing is the God we are serving. You happen to be God's field in which we are working. Or to put it another way, you are God's house. Using the gift God gave me as a good architect, I designed blueprints. Apollos is putting up the walls. Let each carpenter who comes on the job take care to build on the foundation. Remember, there is only one foundation, the one already laid, Jesus Christ. Take particular care in picking out your building materials. Eventually, there is going to be an inspection. If you use cheap or inferior materials, you'll be found out. The inspection will be thorough and rigorous. You won't get by with a thing. If your work passes inspection, fine. If it doesn't, your part of the building will be torn out and started over. But you won't be torn out. You'll survive, but just barely. You realize, don't you, that you are the temple of God, and God Himself is present in you. No one will get by with vandalizing God's temple. You can be sure of that. God's temple is sacred, and you, remember, are the temple. Don't fool yourself. Don't think that you can be wise merely by being up to date with the times. Be God's fool. That's the path to true wisdom. What the world calls smart, God calls stupid. It's written in Scripture. He exposes the chicanery of the sheep. The master sees through the smoke screens of the know-it-alls. I don't want to hear any of you bragging about yourself or anyone else. Everything is already yours as a gift. Paul, Apollos, Peter, the world, life, death, the present, the future, all of it is yours. And you are privileged to be in union with Christ, who is in union with God. May the Lord bless the reading of His Word this morning and guide my mouth when I speak the message that I prepared, that it be His message, not my message. His will might be done, not mine. He might receive more in honor than I, and all those with ears might hear the words of the Lord. Amen. Amen. I appreciate reading the Scripture from the Message because the Message is a paraphrase translation. It is a translation, but it translates it from what Paul said, in this case, what Paul said, to how we would say it now, as if we were talking now. You know, there's an interesting thing that most people don't realize. We sang some of it, you know, like love it and cherish, you know, watch it. When that was how English was written. It was written loveth, but it was pronounced loves. It was pronounced the same way. That F ending just gave you the grammatical, it refers back to something else. Because the King James used that, and it was they used those endings, and then it was being used at a time when people no longer used them. They didn't know how to pronounce them properly, and so they then pronounced it loveth or showeth or whatever, and so then but nobody actually ever spoke that way except in the church, perpetuating an archaic form that wasn't accurate. So sometimes it's helpful to actually think about the way that things actually would have been said if they were, being said in today's language. Because, but then again, there's that lovely thing about up to date. Well, we'll get there. So this is Paul's letter to the church in Corinth. He's yelling at them. He's upset with them. Corinth is a city in Greece. It's at this point in time when Paul's writing, it's probably about the size of Burlington. It's down from the best records we have. It was probably about 90,000 people living in it back in 300 BCE. But this is Paul, and he's in about 50 or 60. The Romans, so it's a Greek city. The Romans sacked it, destroyed it in 44 BCE. So Paul is writing to a church that's in a town that's about 100 years old. It's a city that, like I said, has been rebuilt. It's on this channel to get. It's a port city. It's a lot of traffic goes by. Boats, sailors. It's a city, it's sort of like the Las Vegas of the ancient world. It's a licentious city. It's a city where you can, if you've got enough money, you can buy all sorts of things there. It's a wealthy city. It's a glitzy city. If you wanted to get in a fight in the ancient world, when you were in a bar, you'd call somebody's mother a Corinthian girl. And that was a way to start a fight. Just think if you were someplace, I know none of you go to bars, but if you were at a coffee shop and said, your mom's headlining in Las Vegas, it'd be a good way to start a fight, right? But there's a church there. There's a church, a gathered body of believers who are meeting and worshiping and trying to live out this new way. And Paul is writing to them, and he's not happy with them. So he's challenging them. He's chastising them. He says, "You are like nursing babes." You may be more familiar with the thing. You can only drink milk. Not you haven't developed the ability to drink or to eat meat yet. And so I'm going to give you the milk. This picture of these very young children who are fussing. It's a lovely image. No, it's feminine imagery. Sometimes we think about the Bible being this big patriarchal thing, but it's feminine imagery. And he's saying, listen, you guys are going to be bottle fed. You've got to be nursed. You are only happy when things are going your way. Right? I had the opportunity this week to hold a new little baby, bouncing her around, and she started crying. And what's the rule? When you cry, you go back to mom. Right? Paul says, listen, you're like these crying babies. You're supposed to be these mature Christians. You're supposed to be this way. But he said, in more little translation, he says, you're filled with jealousy and quarreling. He says, think about kiddos and that jealousy. Oh, he's got something, I want that. He says, you're always quarreling. I think he may be hearkening back to the Israelites who are constant in the wilderness while they're wandering around, and they're constantly complaining to God. They're constantly quarreling amongst themselves. They're unsatisfied with the provisions of God. These Corinthians are having this challenge and it's revealing something about who they are. Oh, well, I'm on this team, or I'm on this side, or maturity is being able to handle no as an answer. Anybody can, when things are going well, and things are happening, and you're getting what you want, anybody likes that. It's when you feel the boundaries established that reveals something about who you are. When you get told no, that's what being weaned is, right? No longer having food on demand. When a baby cries, you feed it. Being weaned is, no, you got to wait until lunch. You got to wait until dinner. You got to wait until breakfast. Paul's saying to these Corinthians, they're living their lives, they're going about their way as if, everything should just be theirs right then. And when they don't get it, they throw a fit. He then goes on to, he has a different imagery. He moves to its slave imagery, its servant imagery. Really, we think about servants, but in the ancient world, it's pretty much slaves. Planting and watering, that while you're doing these things, and instead of being able to point to them and say, oh yeah, I'm doing this, he says, nah, not really. The person who plants it isn't really all that important. The person who waters it, well, yeah. But it's really a work of God. He uses slave imagery, talking about building and laboring and construction, sweat of the brow. Well, who's the most important? I always say on the mountain, the lifties are the most important, right? Nothing happens without the lifties. Well, that's true, but you need the snowmakers, you need the seed patrol, you need everybody else. Now, who's the most important when it comes to the house? Well, is it the architect? Well, the architect's all well and good, but if you can't actually build it, well, if you don't, no, it's something a little bit beyond. Really, all these folks that he's describing are just laborers in the field. They're just the folks who are doing it. They don't actually own it. They don't actually benefit from it. They don't actually have any control. They just have a little part to do. And yeah, their part's important, but it's predicated on somebody else's work, and it will be finished by somebody else's. First thing we should think about when we read this text is, what exactly are we doing and why? When we look at our lives, what are we doing and why? Well, we're sitting in church listening to you, Pastor Abe. Okay. But why? Think about what has brought you here this morning. Or when you
feel comfortable being here.
Yeah. Well, so that's a you statement, right? You can ask that same question when you're doing something else. Whether you're at work or you're at home or you're interacting with somebody. What's going on in this thing? Is it about my own desires, my own thing? Is it because I have to have my own way? Am I like a baby who, oh, hey, I like that, I want that, give it to me now? Is our self-worth, we're doing something because, well, I'm the planter. Oh, I'm the architect. Oh, I'm the one who gets to water it, and if I don't do my job, then the whole thing's going to go. If that person, you ever forget to water your plants? Oh, is our self-worth tied up in what we're doing? That somehow we think because we can do this, or because we are doing this, that we're somehow important? Is it a way that we can show that we're like somebody else who we think is important? Oh, well, I'm gonna do this because this makes me like whoever, and they're really important. You know where that shows up a lot of times is when we try to emulate our parents. Oh, well, listen, Mom and Dad's important. What are we doing doing stuff just to be like them because they were important people and so we want to be important like they are? Or were? The church is important. Who's more important, the pastor or the congregants? Well, the pastor, of course. Right? He's the one who has to preach the sermon. She, in our case, he. Well, but if there's nobody to listen to the sermon, that sermon's not. See, you're all functioning as an important role. It's not just me up here, showing you how snazzy I am. Yeah, that's right. We help make. No. Shouldn't be about that. It's not why I'm doing this. It's not why you're doing this. Just because you're sitting there listening, just because I'm up here talking. I'm just pouring a little bit of water. It's soaking over you. I'm just smearing this brick with some mortar, plopping it down. It's God who's working in both of us, or all of us. It's God that's causing something to go, and that's what he says, is we're the field that God's growing something, and we're the building that God is working on. In the passage about building, Paul actually mentions, in the Greek, he mentions different types of building material. Gold and silver and costly stones, wood, hay, or straw. He says, you can build out of all sorts of things. But there comes to be a point when those things will be tested. Peterson says there will be an inspection. Literally, there will be a fire. You can build out of anything you want. It sounds almost like the three little pigs in the scripture. You can build out anything you want, but eventually there will be a big bad wolf coming to blow on it. Think about that. That's why learning to deal with no is such an important thing, is because there will come a time when our lives meet a limit. There will come a time when we will be faced with our own mortality. There will come a time when some level of pain and discomfort will enter in. What are you going to do when we face that challenge? Sometimes we encounter people who have never failed in their entire life. I always like taking classes, in college or seminary, and somebody would get back a C or maybe even worse, and they go, "I've never gotten anything that wasn't an A." Not one of the problems that I suffered with. Right? Maybe you've worked with somebody or you're friends with somebody who's had everything handed to them. Never had a setback in their entire life, and then the smallest little thing comes along and, oh my goodness! That's what these Corinthians are like. Paul says, it won't destroy you. That if you build your life out of these weak things, out of these lesser things, if you build with inferior construction, you won't be completely destroyed, but whatever you built will be destroyed. You won't be destroyed, but it won't be a very satisfactory experience. In more theological terms, you might say you won't lose your salvation if you're in the church and you've built your life out of all these lesser things, but you won't benefit from it very much in this life. Because remember, he's writing to Christians. He's writing to people who have confessed, oh yeah, Jesus is Lord, but many of them aren't living quite well. So the second thing we can see in this text that we should ask ourselves is, how are we going about what should be most important? What sort of materials, if we had to label the materials with which we're building our lives, how would we describe them? Would we say we're top shelf, priority? Would we say they're contractor grade? You know what contractor grade is in building, right? That's the thing that the contractor can buy a case of and puts in every house because it's, cheapest and easiest, and it looks sort of nice, but when you have to live with it for a few years, you realize how lousy it is. Not very thought through. Is that the sort of life materials we're using? Is that how we're building our relationship with Jesus? Think about when you buy a Valentine's Day present, or a birthday present, or an anniversary present, or a Christmas present for somebody. Are you just getting them something to fill the slot? Or are you using, custom, handcrafted, artisanal, blankety blank? Oh, look at this! I, spent, 3,000 hours building this lovely whatever. We look at our life and the way that we fill our life, the way that we build our life, the materials that we use. How will they hold up over time? How will they hold up under stress? How will they do with wear and tear? Again, sometimes we fill our lives with things that look all impressive on the outside. People look and point and they go, oh, wow. But we know after a while those things just don't hold up. They fall apart. They have a shelf life. One of the questions we have to ask ourselves is, as we build our lives, are we just shopping from the rack of worldly culture? Are we going and, whatever fits everybody else, and we say, oh yeah, I just want one of those just like that. You ever get an article of clothing because you saw somebody else wearing it, you go, oh, that looks cool. It's like, oh, you put it on, and later on you realized, boy, I look dumb. Maybe it looked good on them, but it didn't look good on you, or maybe it didn't look good on them either, but you just thought it was the thing. Are we following a more godly path? Are we building on the foundation of Jesus Christ? We need a certain timelessness to our lives, not fashionableness. Fashionable is what's happening now. You ever watch old TV? Or maybe look at some old picture of yourself and think, why was that ever a thing? I can't believe, some of you are different age, I'm looking at it at a different age, so sideburn length, or hair frizziness, or flatness, or, collars this way or that way, or, there's a lovely picture of Amanda being brought home as a baby, and her dad has these sideburns like this, and plaid bell bottoms. Some of you go, well, they're going to come back!
Yeah.
Lord, I hope not. There's a Princess Diana, I saw an interview with her once, and she said about her wedding, some of you remember watching it, it was a big deal, right, like Cinderella. She said every time she looked at the pictures, she prayed before she opened the thing, dear God, let those sleeves have shrunk. Remember, they were the big leg of mutton. When we look back at our lives and the things that we've said, oh yeah, this is really important. I'm going to spend a lot of time and effort doing this thing. We can't be focused on how it's going to look immediately, how it's going to be right now, perceived right now, how it fits with the forms of fashion of the world right now. We can't focus on the cool thing because in just a few hundred years, those things are going to be meaningless. Remember, Paul's writing to a church in a city that's 100 years old. It was destroyed and rebuilt, and in another 200 years, it's going to be completely gone. How many times have we made mistakes in our lives, or we've seen other people make mistakes in their lives because they made a decision based on right then and there, but the consequences of it that went on lasting for a very long time were not quite what they wanted. on being important right now actually going to still be important? The thing we need to focus on is our relationship with Jesus Christ. Because Jesus Christ is eternal. We focus on that because it's actually someplace that we can have some sort of lasting impact. He's united with God Almighty, the Eternal One, who was before the foundations of the world. Jesus is timeless. And it's because of Jesus that anything in this life has any eternal significance. Because any good deed we do, anything that we accomplish, we accomplish unto Him. That's what He says. The righteous will come and they will say, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you? When did we see you naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go and visit you? And Jesus says, say, whatever you did for the least of these, you did for me. That's why we do food shelves and the Deacons Fund and family ministries and relationship building and trying to help people in this life. It's because it's ultimately about Jesus. I mean, we're the weird people who think that when you give a bowl of soup to a hungry person, we're actually handing it to Jesus. Some of you know sometimes I have conversations with Jesus like, it's a good disguise, Jesus. I would have never shown kindness to that person if I hadn't known that it was you in disguise. It's a good disguise. He was swearing so much, smelled so bad, looked so weird, I never would have seen you. I would have never loved that person because they're a jerk. It's a good disguise. That jerk disguise gets me every time. I mean, I know some people aren't Jesus, and that's exactly when I realize that's where He is. A lot of my time I spend on lesser things. But it's because of Jesus that anything in this life has any significance. That's why the phrase used to get thrown around, not so much anymore, but theology is the queen of the sciences. Let me say that again. Theology is the queen of the sciences. The only reason why it's worthwhile to study biology or physics or meteorology or anything is because there's a theological significance, because by studying those things about the created order in the world, you are somehow understanding the Creator. And so it lies in that understanding, because otherwise it doesn't really matter about matter. Just like it doesn't really matter about, oh, I planted this thing or I watered this thing. No, it's the one behind all of it that is significant. Oh, well, I'm a pastor, or I'm this thing or that thing, or I did this accomplishment or that accomplishment, or people know my name and they say, hey, you're super great and I want to know you and I want to be friends with you on Facebook, or whatever it is that you think is really important about this world isn't, unless it points back to Jesus, unless it develops the relationship with Jesus, your relationship with Jesus Christ and following Him. Because He's the only real eternal thing we have. Because He's our connection to God, that's what He says. All the things of this world, all this people, all the success, all the fame, all the accomplishments, all those are ours because we are united with Christ, and Christ is united with God. Remember when Jesus is tempted in the wilderness? Hasn't eaten for 40 days? Hasn't drank anything for 40 days? And Satan shows up and says, I'll give you everything. have the world, right? You can have everything if you just say that the world is the most important thing. What does Jesus say? No. Only thing I'm going to follow is God. And God will provide me with everything. We say that same thing. Satan shows up and says, oh, this thing is really important, and if you focus on this, then you will be successful and have everything you ever desire. You say, no, I'm going to focus on Jesus. And He will provide me with everything I need. He's the only thing that matters. So we should ask ourselves this morning, have we done that? Maybe we've never, ever had a point in our lives when we've said, yep, that's where my focus is going to be. I'm going to just focus on my relationship with Jesus. It's not going to be second or third or fourth or just one of these things, but that's going to be my priority, my first thing. Or maybe we made that statement at some point in our life, but there's been all these things that have come up and taken its place and made it slip into irrelevance or oblivion. Or maybe when we think about Jesus or thought about Jesus in our relationship, it's always been a Jesus and. Yeah, I'm following Jesus and I'm this thing and that. Oh yeah, my relationship with Jesus is important, but so is this. What Paul says is no. Apollos, Paul, Peter, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is Jesus. Let's pray. With me this morning, if you will. Lord, I've looked at my life this morning. As I've looked at these scriptures, thought about them and prayed about them, I've seen some things in my life that I want to change, some priorities I want to change. I see some places in my past where I failed you, I disobeyed you, I've ignored your desires, I've gone my own way. Please, dear God, forgive me. Have mercy on me. Forgive me. Lord, I want you to be first in my life. I want you to guide my life. I want you to be my ruler, my boss, my Lord. Direct my life every day. Be most important to me in everything. Be first, last. Every thought that I have, let it be of you. I thank you that you promised to hear me